Well, you know what? Let's have some fun. I picked some cutouts of Putin's speech for you from CCD, that is Center for Countering Disinformation, article online. These guys did an excellent job of dissecting Putin's delusional narratives. Well, let me explain them for you in easy and, I hope, fun terms. Let's go. On geopolitical views of the Russian Federation, Putin said the world should be multipolar and fairer and not depend on a single country's dictatorship. It is necessary to respect the interests of other countries, regardless of their territory size, GDP volumes, and the availability of modern weapons, says Putin, and invades Ukraine. In Britain, continues to complain Russian Tsar, the procedure of electing the head of the state is not democratic at all, as it is established within the framework of the dominant party, and the people are not engaged in the change of government, says Putin, and desecrates Russia's constitution, anointing himself for eternal reign. On the anti-Russian sanctions and economic situation, Putin said, due to Western sanctions policy, businesses are being shut down in Europe, and global inflation is rising. The latter is increasing in the West and decreasing in Russia. Confidence in the dollar, the euro, and the pound sterling has been lost before our very eyes, says Putin, and sells oil for the dollars, the euro, and the pound sterling, as no bank in the world accepts ruble that shrinked fivefold compared pre-war dollar and counting. On the grain crisis, food procurement by Western countries is pushing up prices and will lead to an unprecedented humanitarian catastrophe in the poorest countries. Europe continues to adopt its colonial practices and delude the poorest, says Putin, and just bombs Ukrainian ports of Odessa, burning hundreds of thousands of tons of grain that were supposed to be sent by Ukraine to Africa. On Russia's energy blackmail in Europe, our gas pipeline is far more competitive, says Putin, than LNG, and currently Russia has no problems with the implementation of its energy suppliers, particularly in China. Nord Stream 2 was built for a reason. If necessary, we will switch it on immediately, says Putin, and immediately finds out that Nord Stream 2 is currently out of order. And on the war in Ukraine, of course, the Russian Federation is ready to face different challenges, including the US's constant supply of new weapons to Ukraine, says Putin, and loses Kursk and the region. And the last one, if you will, my favorite. The consequences of the war cut off all unnecessary issues and only strengthen Russia's sovereignty. Since February 24, the Russian Federation has not lost anything and will not lose anything, says Putin, and just ignores 600,000 Russians killed in Ukraine on his sole demand. Well, who counts Russian cannon fodder in Russia anyway, right? Worth noting here just one thing. Answering the question on the war in Ukraine, Putin just notes that the idea of the forum is not that, and Ukraine is irrelevant. So what we can say about Putin that he never misses a chance to boast, and where is no reason, he just invents one. So what was it then? No even invented reason for boasting, I might suppose.